All right, guys, call me crazy, but just this past week while dealing on Facebook Marketplace, looking at a Y-Blocks part lot that included an intake manifold, some rocker arms, assemblies, and some different odds and ends, I ended up giving in to a guy offering me a short block, rotating assembly, everything in the block there, and then another guy that kind of threw in with the lot. He was a buddy of his that wanted to sell me a long block. Not complete from carb to pan, but just kind of missing the carb. It had most of the engine there. So we're going to take a look at this. Now that I got both of these, I want to tear them down. And maybe you're trying to find a core where you live and you want to tear it apart. I want to just kind of give you some tips on when you tear one down, what to look for, what you're getting into. Maybe this is your first foray into this. I get emails and messages every week from guys that are just getting started into the hobby. So hopefully this will be a help to you. I don't know how many videos this is going to take, how many sessions we'll have, but we'll go from beginning to end on just tearing down one of these blocks. Stay tuned. I want to say this as well. Some of you guys who want to see this 3-deuce intake, I keep having guys that talk to me about these carburetors, trying to get them done. Here's a fella, he literally showed up at church this morning. He drove 100 miles, attended the church service. After church, chases me down. He's got his car, he's got his Holly 4000 core. He's got his kit, information. The man's ready to go. And I guess I'm the guy to rebuild it. So we're still tinkering around here with some of this kind of stuff, trying to help some guys out and keep the cars on the road. So we will get back to it. Hang tight. I'm out here with these two, Jake and Brandon. These guys are helping us here. And how you doing, big man?
So what's up? Where's that chain? Right here.
Earlier this week on Facebook Marketplace, I saw that a guy had just some parts for sale in a tub, and I kind of dealing on those, and he said, hey, I've got this short block. Why don't you get that? And I said, well, I don't have a hoist to pick it up. And he said, well, I'll bring it to you. Then his buddy chimes in and he says, hey, I've got this long block here, core. Why don't you deal on this? And well, here we go. So both of these are ECG. Now, this is a 272. I know for sure this one most probably is, but it's hard to tell. I don't think this one's been torn into very much, but you can tell by the motor mount up the front, that's a later truck motor mount. I don't know. Could be a 272 from the factory for late in the 50s. Doubtful though. Here another truck block, and this is like Frankenstein. Somebody rigged up their own filler cap to seal it off, and then of course a hose here. Get the fumes out, and you also got crankcase ventilation here, and I'm assuming they try to route that to here. So what are you looking at? This is an ECG 272. You do have heads that are ECZC. You can see it right there, kind of at the middle of the screen. Those are really 56 model year heads. As far as I know, 56 model year only. But this is a 57 and up intake for 2 barrels. And if you look back here, like I said, Frankenstein, we've got the Lodomatic vacuum advance only distributor back here. I bet you this ran like junk. I cannot imagine. All kinds of fun things here. We got a alternator somebody tried to rig up. Made in the house of Frankenstein. Brackets there. Later fuel pump. Looks like a small block fuel pump. I don't know. And you can tell, of course, this was on the truck by the motor mount, the oil pan, single exhaust. Give it away. When you pop this off, ECZC heads would have had the ECG 6564. Well, these don't. 5751066. Obviously, they've been swapped out. I did see we have the nice stout push rods here. Nice little feature, but we're going to disassemble this sucker. Oh, I didn't pull this out. It did have an accessory pulley on it. Had one of these on there, so we're going to blast that in the cabinet, get that nice and pretty. All kinds of fun stuff. You never can tell. Y blocks are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you get. You got to open it up and see what's going on inside. But this is, guys, this is just why when you buy a car, you buy a truck, and somebody looks at the way something's painted, or they pop the hood and they see the engine. Yeah, that's a 292. I know because it's got blah, blah, blah. You have no idea what people have done to their engines. Over the years, people have swapped stuff in and out, all kinds of craziness. I don't think I've ever disassembled one all original Y block that did not have at least some parts swapped, replaced from other blocks. It's just the way it goes. A little comment here, if you do decide to route a PCV, route a crankcase ventilation, make sure you baffle this. You don't want to be sucking oil up right in here, back into your engine. You don't want to be sucking oil back into your PCV valve and then in through your vacuum port for your intake. Guys, just a general tips when you're breaking these engines down. It's probably best if you went ahead and backed off all of your rocker arm adjusters. If you're going to disassemble the engine, just pull those off. Sure, you can go ahead and just get your impact and go to town, but you kind of keep from bending things. Also gives you a chance to see how things are acting, and if you're going to tear into the engine, it's probably good to know its history and how it's been running, any kind of issues that it's had. While we're sitting here breaking stuff down, you can tell that someone's pinched off this oil overflow tube to give it a little bit more pressure. And we got all the rocker arm adjusters backed off now completely, so all the pressure is off the valve springs. So next step is to go ahead and remove all the hold down bolts, the two nuts to the studs, remove the studs themselves. We're going to take the whole rocker arm assembly off. Hey guys, a real quick commercial here. Give us just a minute. I want to tell you about these two thick manuals that I have for sale on the website, and also the engine manual from Ford. Hang on. Hey guys, Hot Rod Reverend here. I've got the best option for you, the best way you can spend $20 on your project if you own a 1949 to a 1959 Ford passenger car, and that is this. I've got both of these manuals. Now these are almost 1,000 pages long. These are the Ford parts manuals. Now, this edition is 1964. I've got the text catalog that has all of the part numbers, what the parts are named, what they're called. It's all organized very well. And then, of course, I've also got the book that has all of the illustrations in it. This is for everything: body parts, mechanicals, trim. A lot of questions get answered by these books, and the great, wonderful thing about this is that what you can do, you can print this off online. Let me show you how this works here on the website. What you do is you go to the website here. I'll take you through the process. You see the listing here on my website, hotrodreverend.com, in the shop. When you click on this and you determine, hey, I'm going to buy this, you pay $20. What happens is you get a link that is sent to you to download these files. Now, I've got more than just these two books. I'll talk about that in a minute. But you get these books. These are the anchors. These are the best part, I guess I should say, of getting this. So what happens is you download all the files with that link. It's a zip file. That means it's compressed. You have to unzip it, put it in a folder on your computer so you can access it later on. Now, these are both in what's called a PDF. Basically, that means this is organized, and what you can do is just scroll through the pages, and you can click on any page you want. You can zoom in, zoom out. The wonderful thing about this is that instead of using original manuals and paying a hefty price and dirtying up different things or whatever you might need, is real bulky, you can just print off the page that you need, take this with you to the garage, and work on whatever you want. When you're done, take the paper and just throw it away. It's not a problem. Secondly, if you're going to a swap meet, This is just invaluable information here. What you can do is print off a page of part numbers that you might need, and you can use these part numbers as a reference. If you need illustrations, of course, you can print those off. But again, once you're done with this, hey, just take it and throw it away. It's not a problem. You don't have to worry about ruining or damaging your original manuals because you now got it in a digital file format. Also included in this download is Ford's late 50s engine manual. Now, there are a lot of pages to this, and you can see here, I think there's almost 100 or so. I'll put this up here on the screen for you. This is just a sample page at the beginning. You've got the 6-cylinder, of course, that's in this. You've got the early FE engine that's in this, and of course, what we feature here on HotRodReverend.com and on the channel is the Y block as well. These are very good pages, specifics, updates, both in these manuals from 1964 and also in the engine manual. Also in the download are a lot of pictures, a lot of freebies, a lot of other things. There's some Paxton McCulloch information on there, the supercharger. There's the overdrive transmission, the 3-speed overdrive, the Borg Warner, the 259s and the T85s that came out there in the 50s. There's some great information on that. Lots of tech that you can download and print off whatever you need. I guarantee you this is the best way to spend $20 on your project in the garage. You can't go wrong by getting a hold of these digital files. Buy them today. Now, among many reasons, we're about to get into one of the main reasons why I like tearing down old Y blocks. You don't know the history of it. These rocker arm assemblies have been replaced since the engine was new, of course. So I wonder how much wear does this assembly have on it? What are the rockers like on the tips? How about rocker shaft itself? I have found many to be in really good shape because they don't have that many miles. Yeah, you can see how that one's kind of been pinched over. They don't have that many miles on them, and they're actually, the rocker arms are really, really good. So let's find out. And this is what I'm talking about. This is a really good sign. I rubbed my thumb over there. My fingernail catches no ridge at all on all of these rocker arms. Odds are I can completely disassemble this, reuse the rocker arms, maybe get a new shaft if I need to. They're readily available. But this is a really good find. All the parts look to be in really good repair. Now these are the drip trays. These are only 54 to 56, I believe. 57 is sometime in the model year. I think they were deleted. But 54 to 56 will have the drip trays, and then I guess Ford finally figured out they didn't need them. But at any rate, just remember, if you delete these, you do lose a little bit of rocker arm geometry. Ted Eaton's got a good article on that. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Just some good information to know if you're interested in getting the most power out of your Y block. You probably need to know that. If you don't care, you're just trying to get it back, get a good running engine, it's not going to be a dime's worth of difference. But anyway, here they are. Now, if I was going to be rebuilding this engine and saving the camshaft and lifters, which I'm not, I don't recommend that, especially with the age of many of our Y blocks these days. I don't think you ought to do it. But at any rate, if I was going to do that, I would make sure I numbered all of my push rods, match them with the lifters, and then match them with the correct lobe on the cam. That's very important to do. I'll leave a link in the description to my camshaft swap I did several years ago here in the 292 with the E4. I did that with the old stock cam I took out because it was really in good shape. But these are the better tubular steel push rods. Ford went to these in 57. Very nice upgrade. Recommended on any Y block build. I save every bit of hardware, and I even have a hardware kit for the rocker arm hold down for your assemblies, and you can look on my website for that. I'll leave a link in the description. But even the studs like these, the correct length of bolts, all those things are very important. Got a Y block that got handed to me that was rebuilt one time. Had the wrong bolts in it. It was kind of a mess. So it's good to have the right hardware. A couple more things to note. Number one, you see a lot of oil here. That's a very good sign that this thing was getting a lot of oil to the top end. This obviously looks clear. And of course, as wet as it is, I think we're good. Both sides is a good sign. However, I have tried to turn this over. I could not. It is stuck hard and fast. Probably this is an indicator. Water got in it. That's my take. So just to make it easier on myself, I'm going to pull the heads anyway. We'll dig into it and see what's going on. Further we go. Okay, we got the other side completely removed here. And for the most part, all of these are pretty much the same condition as the other side. And that's nice. Sometimes you open up these valve covers and you've got Frankenstein assembly with different numbers, sometimes high ratio, just thrown in there for good measure, all kinds of stuff cobbled up. But this looks like it was a decent set somebody put on here years ago.